What is going on, everybody? You're McLaren Speed Shop World Champion coming at you with another video. This time we're going to be taking down Belo. Going to let you guys know a couple different ways and the best way to do it, because if you don't approach Betty the correct way, it's an easy matchup that we can lose just because we cannot withstand like 8k attacks, especially early on in the game. But yeah, also too, on your screen I'm testing out another slight variation. This Uta blocker kind of interests me because of the on block -1. I'm thinking I'm going to be testing it against like RP Luffy and stuff mostly, just because since it's cost 5, if they put up any other blockers like Kid or Queen and then attack us, we use Uta to rest one of them and then potentially get like easier kill shots on them at the end of the game. But we'll see if that strat works out. I'll let you guys know. But let's jump into Betty though. So most Betty decks will run somewhere like this. Their key cards are going to be Ivankov because that lets them summon things, and then Karasu's the big one because the on-play ability is -1000 and when attacking is a -1000. But Betty is a pretty easy deck to deal with if you have the cards, because how they work is they have to discard a card so for their ability to work. So one way to beat them is just completely hand starve them. Do not attack their life and just deal with everything that's on the board first, because for them to activate their abilities they have to discard a card. But if you're able to just then prioritize removing whatever they put on the field, then there is absolutely nothing they can do. Because if you go too aggro too early and attack their life, the risk you run into is like all these cards have triggers, and if you give them too many life triggers, especially early in the game, you're just going to lose because then you can't really keep up. But if you just prioritize board control, then you can beat these guys. As soon as anything they put out, if you have the capacity to remove it with your power removal cards, just do that. Because against Betty, we don't need high Dawn, so you can just go super aggro with removing everything. And I'm going to show you guys like 2 different ways. So the hand starving method just kind of depends on what they're playing, because obviously they play like Ivankov and stuff, they're going to do this, and then if they have anybody out on the board, they'll discard. But 2 key things to just look at is like what is in their hand, because there's not a whole lot of defense in this deck. They may run Bunny Joe, and that's kind of like they're only going to have like 1 blocker in the deck, because this deck wins by their defense is offense by getting out a bunch of characters, so that way their opponent has to attack the characters versus attacking them. However, we have the luxury of just removing their characters while still attacking them, but you just have to be careful on how you do it, because basically you just gotta go off in your hand. If you can be aggro, then I'd say just be cautious when attacking them. Like instead of hand starving them, if you feel confident that you're going to be able to remove anything that they play on the field, then basically attack their life. See if they get a life trigger. If they get just 1 life trigger, stop and then remove it. So ideally attack first before you kind of do anything, just to see what they get. And then as soon as you get 1 life trigger, stop attacking them. Use your power removal, get rid of them, and then just call it good. Because then they'll play a card, whoever, next turn, and then you can focus on removing that. And it's just kind of like a slow thing, because in a weird way, if we're able to draw out games against Betty, we're gonna win, because they burn out of cards like way faster than we do, which is our problem in other matchups. But in this matchup, it's weirdly our advantage, where if you just stall Betty players out, they'll run out of cards in their hand and then they just straight up can't do anything. And then especially too, end game, if they throw down a bunch of characters, normally if you have their life kind of chipped down, it doesn't matter how many they put out, because you can just attack them directly and win. So that's like the other thing as well. If you manage your life kind of okay, then you don't have to worry about what they put out near the end of the game. And you can beat these guys like really, really fast. You can beat them turn 4, turn 5 if you play it that way. And yeah, so 2 different strategies against Betty. Just completely hand starve them, ideally, out of everything they have. And then they just straight up can't even boost their characters if you do that. And especially if you're then removing their characters, you just leave them isolated with only their leader and all their Don and nothing in their hand, so they just straight up can't do anything. Or the other way that I normally encountered the most is just like be kind of patient and just focus on board control. Just try to remove everything they play on the board, prioritizing just like power stuff. So saving your stuff for the key cards of getting rid of Ivankov and Karasu are like the 2 main cards. That's their go-to combo. But the good news is all of their cards that they run in their deck, unless they run like Sabo, which I've seen a couple times, but not too much because Sabo takes a lot of their resources away. And all their cards are within range of both Otama and Gordon, which is huge for us because then pretty much opens the door being able to get like any of their characters to put on the board. And especially if you just, even if you have the other power reducers, you can then combo power reducers and then like go like crazy, because we run Fire Fist, and then some builds they do run Fire Fist just so they can combo with like Kuma. But Fire Fist comes in pretty handy against these guys as well, because later in the game, depending on your life, you can just wipe their board completely late game with the cards that we run. But yeah, prioritize board control over hitting their life down. Just completely get rid of everything, because again, they have to exhaust a lot of resources getting characters from their hand. So even if they get their dream setup, which is Ivankov and Karasu, that's 2 cards from their hand right there. And then they immediately, like that turn they play Ivankov, they have to discard a card from their hand to use the Ivankov's ability to get Karasu out. So there's those 2. So that's 3 cards from their hand right there. And depending on the stages of the game, they're only going to have like 2-3 cards left in their hand from that. So then just prioritize getting rid of that first and just starve them out, and then you can just slowly chip away at them. And then if they get a life trigger, stop, focus on removing that to keep the hand starvation going, because you don't want to give them a life trigger, and then especially if they still have a couple cards they can still discard, boost the life triggers. But yeah, that's the strats against Betty though. Number 1, focus on their hand over their life, starving them. And then number 2, the more importantly, just make sure you can keep up on board control, because their only way to beat us is if they put out multiple characters a turn, because your ability can only remove 1. So if you're not running the other cards to keep removing other people, like a jet pistol or anything, you definitely don't want to like give them extra characters on the board. So prioritize board control, and straight up, depending on the situation of the cards in their hand and what the board is looking like, and based on your cards in your hand, if you don't feel confident, you could remove like whatever they play. Like if they get a life trigger, don't attack them. Just end your turn. Because if you've got them hand starved, they will then have to play a character from their hand, and then depending on who it is, may have to burn another card with Betty's ability. So then you can just get them down. If you get them down to like 1 or 0 cards, it doesn't matter the life triggers, because then they can't even get the life triggers, because all of their life triggers are also discard a card. Like trash a card, discard a card, discard 1, discard 1, discard 1. So you just straight up like completely annihilate their hand by playing slow and stalling them out. Basically like how NL plays against us when they have Yamato. That's how you want to play against Betty, is just prioritize the board control, and which will completely burn them out of cards, because they have to both play a card from their hand to summon like whatever character, and then you also use the ability to get the buffs on their characters. So that's how you beat Betty. And running those strategies, I've been super successful beating Betty, like doing that. But it is a tough deck though if you let the board control get away from you. Like if you let them get too many characters out, you're not gonna win, because you just won't be able to remove. But if you're able to just like prioritize that, you just kind of, though maybe in the tougher matchups, get built up like one time, and then as long as you have your characters out, you just gotta board wipe them like once, and then you're gonna win, because they can't really replenish from that. So whether you use your ability or if you just use your characters to kind of like do trades, like attack them and then they're gonna attack like your character, and then you just trade out with their rested, that's also how you can beat them. But yeah, most successful ways for me though have been just trying to starve them out of their hand, prioritize like getting the hand down over their life, and then board control is the biggest one. Even if you don't hand starve them, board control is bigger, because if you have the stuff, if you feel confident and you have the stuff, you can straight up just remove everything they play. Because again, the only rush character that they have is just 1, and it's not that strong. So all the other cards for their abilities to get going and for them attack, you still have a turn to remove them. So If you're able to do that, then you don't really have to worry about the hand stuff as much. But if you can't do that, then try to hand serve them out. So jump into a couple games. Got a couple different deck variations that you guys will probably see. And yeah, I'll try to show you both of the methods of hand serving them and then just doing the constant board wipes and how you can beat Betty. Once you kind of get a control over these strategies, beating Betty is pretty easy. Like, just straight up, you'll know what they have. They don't have, they're just kind of like a one-trick deck. And once you get, if you're able to control that and then just turn their ability against them, then you'll beat them like very, very consistently. And yeah, it just takes a little practice to kind of get used to, because it's a weird way to play. Like, straight up, like, not attacking people sometimes is like weird, especially against all of our other matchups. But if you play this way, stall them out, you're gonna take them out. So jump into a couple games and I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, here we go against Betty. We have the soft set up here, so we'll go. I'll keep it. Why not? They're going first, so they have this, which is expected. I just need some power removal and we're good. Okay, we get that, which is fine. So let me throw down. Yeah, we'll throw down Sanji. End our turn. They chose to go first. See what we can do. They only have 3. Okay, we got a stage. Okay, what is this? I have no idea what version of this deck is. So draw a card, draw a Don. What is it? Reveal up to 1 revolutionary type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. You may trash 1 card from your hand and rest the stage. Okay, I mean, interesting. Let's see what I can do about all this. So we have 4. They're at 3. So I'm probably going to drop this just to get a blocker up. So deploy this. -3, 1, 2, 3. Get that out. Grab our bear friend. And then end our turn. So I'm curious to see how this kind of operates and what all they can do. Message card. Give your actively your minus. Look at the top 5 of your cards. If your leader, draw 1 card. What the heck build is this? This is crazy. I have no idea what they got scheme in here. Actually, kind of wild and wacky. So they're trying to set up to give all the characters 3 or more. This character gain rush. All right. So let me attack that guy 5 on 3. Get him out of here. So I guess we just push the pace then, huh? If they're trying to set up some VV thing. So what is that? 7. Okay. So leaves me with 4. Attack him 7 and 5. Alright, well that's what I didn't want them to do. But that's fine. 1, 2, 3, get them out. I'll bring in this Zoro. These is 1. These are 2. And they'll end our turn. But yeah, I don't know what to expect with this deck. It seems pretty wild and wacky. So I'll bring in Karasu here. So 6004. And block. I can't block out of it, unfortunately. So there's that. Let's draw a card, draw our Don. So 4. Gotta whop this out of here. And I'll probably use this attack, get 1. Well, these are 2 though is the problem. So I use 2 to minus this. I could bring in Zoro. 2 minus 1 gets me that gives me another 3. If I just had Gordon, this would be perfect. But yeah, let's just drop this, get them out of here. Then what do I want to do this next turn? I could go minus 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to attack to get the 1. Alright. Then we'll... So if they do their thing, boost him, them, but then I can get rid of him the turn after. But if I get Zoro out, where am I at? I'm at 5. Put us down to 2, and then I can't get Kid out. So we'll just do that. We'll just do that. So trashing so they can draw, get Lindbergh. So they're throwing Lindbergh down. Okay, 7 on 4. Which I mean, kind of okay with. Keep that for now. Then 8 on 4. Where am I at? There. Okay. So we get another Rush Zoro, which is pretty big. So that leaves me with 2. If I keep 1, I can do this. And so let me do... Attack him 6 on 5. Okay. Not exactly what I wanted there. I'm trying to think. But I could just drop 2 Rush Zoros. And then I'll drop 1 Rush Zoro. Get rid of that guy. Then I have this to get rid of him. Then I can bring in the other Rush Zoro. So let's just try that. 6 and 5. Yeah, nothing they can do about that. Do this on them. We'll do minus 3. 1, 2, 3. Get them out of here. Bring in another Zoro. Have 2 life. They have 3. I don't really want to risk them getting a trigger because I can't remove it. So we'll just end our turn. This next turn I can get this guy. That's fine. That's fine. So now they're out of cards. I just need to remove these guys. So 3 on 2. I'm gonna just do that. Okay. I mean, that's okay. It's okay with me. So what is this guy there? So I can use Sanji just attack him. I have this. I can get rid of... Well, she's at 3,000. Then I can get rid of him. So let's attack that. 3 on 0. So then I have the 5. Unfortunately, I can't bring him out. But we'll do this onto this. Which is okay. So that leaves me with 3. I want to have 1 for the Rad Beam. And they don't have a card to do anything with to charge this up. So I'll just attack 7 on 5. Which obviously they're gonna take it. Okay. Interesting that they do that. So we'll attack 6 on 5. Okay. I'll do my 3, 1, 2, 3. Scoop them out. Bring in a blocker law. If I attack them again, well, no, I can't. So they're there. So that's fine. So they trash one, draw one, get Ivankov. Should deploy, which I mean might not matter. So 7 on 5. Yeah, that's fine. And then 6 on 3. Okay. I mean, all they could have is maybe a rad beam here. But I have a rad beam myself. And I have this to get them out as well. And so let me attack them. Get that out of here. Attack them again. So that gets them down to the 2. So select a target. This. Keep the rad beam. Well, if I want to get them out, I can't keep the rad beam. So we'll just do this. We'll go for the game. A 6 on 5. Alright, well, that's all I can do with that. So 1, 2, 3. Just completely get them out of here. Can't bring anything in, but it's fine. Because they have nothing on the board. And they don't have any rush, so 9 on 5. That's fine. Draw a card, draw a Don. We'll hit him with this. 7 on 5. Alright, they burn that, and then there's nothing to do to defend that. And then, yeah, that's how you beat Betty. You just want to completely starve them out of their hand before you start picking off their life, and you can beat them pretty much every time. But this, the deck they were running is pretty, I have no idea. I guess they were trying to set up VV. It is a very interesting Betty build. Alabasta Kingdom. So like straight up, it was trying to get this so they could get rush on all their characters. But I mean, I feel like you need 7 Don for this. That's an entire turn invested just for this, and it's only at 4,000, so that thing is just gone, even when you do get it out. But yeah, against Betty though, all you want to do is just completely hand starve them, and there's nothing they can do because kind of backfired because for both of their abilities, like they put they have the stage 2, but with the stage you have to trash a card. For their ability, you have to trash a card. So that's like crazy. You get them down, and then you just slowly chip away at their life. And then if they get a trigger character at their life, you stop, especially if you know, you gotta use your removal stuff to get rid of that, and then you just don't give them the openings to attack, and you just kind of completely put them in a chokehold. And yeah, that's how you can just absolutely slam Betty if you want to do that way. Like the hand starve way is definitely the method I would recommend the most, unless you have a great hand where you know you can just remove anything they put out regardless. And yeah, that is beating Betty. Alright, we got some Betty action. We'll pick up going first here. We can kind of do this. And we have an interesting, might try Sanji strat on this one just to see what happens. It might be fun. But slow game against them. They get Kuma right away, which they drop, which is fine because this guy's going to be Garbanzo Beans on our turn. And yeah, we just got to try to remove everything they put out. Is all. So I will, if we're doing Sanji strat, attack one time. Alright. No trigger. We're fine. We're chilling. 1, 2, 3. Scoop them out. Bring in our bear friend. And there we go. But the problem is I don't have another removal, and yeah, this is the problem right here. Is need to remove this card. So they trash Kuma. Again, the different strats and bring in Karasu. So there's the duo, their best duo. And then they're attacking us, which is fine because I need to get rid of this. Which I get a card to do that. So we got to get rid of that first. So that leaves me at 2. I'm at this. I don't want to give him any more cards right now. I'm going to focus on getting rid of these. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. Get rid of that. Bring in another bear friend. Get us at 1. And then I'll poke at him. Alright. So we get that. And then I'll probably try it again here. We'll just keep alright, they block out of that one. I could we could just go Sanji and yeah, well, it might just cost us the game though. Why not? Alright, no triggers, so we're chilling. We're looking fine. Launch some attacks on him here. And then we have 2 blockers in the pocket if we need to. But yeah, Karasu is a really good card just because of its ability, like when attacking and with the boost. So they have another Ivankov. But we'll kind of see. What they do here. Because I can get rid of this guy next. And then they're at 4 cards. So they're leaving 2. Dang, they got the double Karasu combo. But interesting they're putting it like on me. Okay. Because if they don't kill the board, I can beat them. Because I only can attack with Betty. Okay. So 5 on 2. So that gets it to 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Because based on that play, I feel like they may have just kind of goofed their chances here. So actually, wait. I could just do 7. Okay, they take their last life. They get a blocker. A blocky boy. 1, 2, 3. Get that guy out of here. I'll bring in blocker law, I guess. And yeah, we got him. Do a 6. Alright. Do another 6. Woo! There we go. So there you go, beating Betty, just like that. They don't have really any defense, so again, look at what they have in their hand, because they have to expend a lot of resources from their hand to get the power up boost. And since they don't have any defensive cards, you can just go for it. Obviously, again, just stop if they get a trigger though. But yeah, beat them turn 4. That's pretty quick. All right, we got some Betty action, so we'll see how this goes. See if we can see how they play, and then I'm kind of just go from there. Whether we try to starve them out of the hand, or just slowly chip away their life and stuff. But all right, they get this, which is fine. I need some Don replenishing action. So they grab Kuma. Alright, that's actually pretty big. So I'm gonna attack them. See what happens. Okay, they didn't get a trigger, which is pretty nice. So I'll do that. 1, 2, 3. Get them out. Bring out our bear friend. And we'll do that. So I'm gonna, since we have some decent removal, I'm gonna do my best to stay up on just removing everything they put on the field, because the good news is against Betty, you don't really need high down attacks for late game, but if you can slowly just chip away at them and avoid too many life triggers, then you're kind of okay. But alright, they're doing this little combo, and I don't need Otama, but might help out later. But draw a card, draw a Don. We get our Uta blocker, which I also don't need right now. Alright, they take the life. Okay, they get this, which, to be honest, ain't ideal at all. And so let me play this man. I'm gonna attack him again. Okay, they finally block out of 1. So 1, 2, 3. Scoop them. And bring in Uta. We get to draw 1, trash 1. All their stuff's in range of Gordo, so we can get rid of this. And that'll end our turn. So they got 2 Kumas out, which is fine. Just kind of depends on what they do here. They have Ivankov, then we'll remove Ivankov. Alright, they probably don't have Ivankov. So they got Sabo. Alright, that's interesting. Alright, they do have Ivankov. Never mind. Alright, 5 on 4. I'll do that. So 5 on 4 again. That's fine. 5 on 5. Give me some Cardos, please. Alright, don't really need that. So, how do we want to finesse out of this? I need to kill all of these, and then I have blockers to put in, and I need to remove this one for sure. So these are both at 2. Just attack 3 on 2. Alright, so there's 1. Keep a rad beam in the pocket. Well, I can't actually, because I need to bring in a blocker. Because I could attack this and this. Attack that. Alright. Then how can I move around this? So I'm down to 1, so I could -4. Kill this guy for 2. Use Gordo 1 on this. I mean, that works too. Or I attack this one with our Uta blocker. So bringing in another blocker regardless. Then get rid of... Let's try that. Okay. So now I could Gordo this, and then Fire Fist this down, get rid of that, and then bring in a blocker. So we'll try that. So do it on that, this and that, and then -3. 1, 2, 3. get this out. Bring in probably bear. And then draw one trash one. Get rid of that. And we'll just see what they can do. Because they only can attack us once. I know they have Sabo in there. So that's one of their cards. And Sabo didn't have a counter, I don't think. So we just gotta make it through this turn. And see what we kind of can do. So they're throwing Sabo down, which is fine. And then 7 on 5. What am I going to be at if I block? No blocker, do that, and that. So draw a card, draw a Don. That's actually kind of nice. Let's see. How do I want to go about this though? I'll attack them. Well, the problem is if they get a trigger, they're gonna pull this one out. So we'll do 7 on 5. All right, so that's kind of nice. They'll attack him 5 on 5. Alright. And 1, 2, 3. Bring in our homies here. And yeah, that'll end our turn. And as long as they keep 2 people up, we're good. Alright, they grabbed Inuzama. It's a little bit annoying, so that puts him there. And it just kind of depends on how they finesse this. So 7 on 5. Oh, Rad Beam. Doesn't super matter what they do from here, because now I can block. So 8 on 5. Block this one. Don't need to use the card action. Alright. Draw a card. We get Zoro, which is actually pretty big here, because now I can attack him multiple times. So let's launch a 7 on him. See what they have. Okay, I don't know why they did that. I have no idea why they I don't know why they did any of that. But there we go. Yeah, they just kind of. I mean, I don't know what was going on there. Discarded Bunny Joe and Hack. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if we would have won regardless. But yeah, there we go. Another one on Belo Betty, and this is like the more aggro that you can kind of get into with everything, but you just kind of manage things. Definitely a little misplay out of me. I should have let this guy hit this and then blocked with the Uta regardless. Well, it wouldn't have mattered, actually. But yeah, just in case, I probably should have just got this, but we got hard to the cards anyways, but it wouldn't have mattered based on the cards they had. We had the ratio there to do 7, and then even if they let that hit, I could have just thrown everything on Law, and yeah, regardless, no matter what situation there, we win on that because they had no blockers. Because that's the other thing about Betty that you don't have to worry about is they only run like one blocker, which is like Bunny Joe, who's in our range of removal. So if you do decide to go more aggressive against them, you just trade out and then slowly just try to chip away at their life. Because again, the only way they can beat you is if you overheat too early, give them life triggers, and then let them pile up characters on the board without being able to trade them out. Because the only time it's dangerous against Betty is if they get the life trigger character. And if you don't have a way to then remove it, they're going to hit you. But yeah, it's I don't know, Betty isn't that hard of a matchup, I don't think, for us, because we're removal. But you just have to remember, do not let them, you can't play normal against them like how you do everybody else. That's the biggest thing. So there's 3 different ways, mostly just the main 2 of being aggro. You just need to control the character board, and until like the last turn like this, then it's fine to let them go, because you know, none of their guys are going to attack. They only have, this is the only rush guy they have, and he's only 4,000. So yeah, that's Belo Betty. Again, try to starve them out, because again, also too, for their ability, they have to discard a card. So if you're able to then just launching the little attacks is like good, because they'll try to counter out as many as they can, and then they just burn through all their cards in hand anyways, and then they can't attack you with the bonus, because they won't have it. But yeah, I haven't seen the Sabo like this in this deck in a minute, but I mean, it's good if you get it set up, but they had to trash all their cards, so they couldn't do any of their combos there. And yeah, the key cards you want to remove is just Ivankov, get that one out, and just kind of pick apart their field from there. Because they have to kind of protect their life because they have no defense, and they'll prioritize that. So you can be pretty aggro, swinging on the characters, I'd say. I doubt too many will take that risk, because even though that's their best way to win from attacks, they should be wasting their characters to keep their characters on the board versus their life, because their defense is their offense. But yeah, number 1, if they're playing like super aggressive when you attack and you have a way to hand starve them, I'd say go for that. Like straight up, just don't attack the life, or just attack it one at a time, like once per turn, and then end your turn, and then just go for slow trades like that. And then always like attack first, just in case you get a life trigger. And then that way, if you still have your removal, they get the life trigger, you can remove that, and then go from there based on the situation. And then other one, if you want to play more aggressive, you have to just prioritize the board and make sure you have the characters just trade. You just want to have trades back and forth, and you're fine. Like you attack them, and then that forces them to attack, because if they don't attack what's on your board, then they'll lose because they don't have any defensive cards. So that's the other way. You just keep trading back and forth with characters, and pretty much using your removal as much as you can. Like Uda came in pretty nice with the blocker. I've been liking the Uda blocker a little bit, but didn't really get to test out the ability, which probably would have been great against this deck, against Betty, because all of their costs are 5 or less. But yeah, we'll keep, this is another little tweak I'm trying with a different little deck twist of all the 3. Well, all the multiples we have, but keeping the core structure, and just want to keep things a little bit different. Keeps things fun for me, trying different things, and that way I can also show you guys the other ways how things work. But yeah, that'll do it. Wanted to fire off the how to beat Betty, just because it's a deck that can cause you problems if you don't go up against them the right way. And you can easily lose to Betty if you just play like attacking their life just straight up. But if you don't do that, again, number 1, prioritize the board, the characters. You just remove everything. If you have the ability to remove everything they put out, you'll beat them easily. Like there's nothing they can do about that. And then also, don't be afraid to just end your turn sometimes and not attack their life, especially if they're low on cards in their hand. Just end your turn, make them just burn out of everything, because for all of their triggers, they have to trash a card as well to bring the trigger out. So if you force them into that, then you'll have a complete stranglehold on them, and there's just nothing they're going to be able to do. once they get low on cards, you can just pretty much take away any kind of chance of them winning, because they need to trash a card for their ability, and they need to trash a card if they do get a trigger for the trigger characters. So basically, yeah, hit their life. If you hit a trigger, stop. Stop right there. Do not attack them again. If you have the removal, get rid of the trigger. If not, just straight up like end your turn, and then just kind of go from there, because you don't want to give them multiple trigger characters that are swinging 8,000 at you, because we don't have the way to block that. But yeah, there's the Betty breakdown for you guys. Give you guys a couple different strategies of what to do and how to beat them. And against Betty also too, it's fine that the games go long, because in a weird way, it's good for us, because even though we burn out of cards fast, they burn out of cards faster. So if you're able to stall them out, normally we'll come out on top. So, but yeah, Betty wanted to fire this up because yeah, I've seen some questions and concerns about that. But yeah, that's how you beat Betty. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.